All right. So now let's go ahead and move over to our other display on the other side, which is labeled a Super UHD TV. And we're going to go ahead and test first port 1, port 2. Okay, port 1 is actually connected to the output of our extender. So we'll go ahead and disconnect that, plug it into our generator. Turn the generator on, and let's see here. Alright, so I'm outputting 3840 by 2160 P30 with no HDCP. I should get a picture easy. I do. Let's change it to the max resolution with HDCP 2.2. And see if we get a lock. Okay, perfect. So this TV is actually able to do the full 2160p60 444, and we can go through and test all these ports right now, which we've already done. And every one of these 4 ports on this JS7000 will completely test out at HDCP 2.2 and 2160p60 at 444. So you could use any port on this for 4K high value copy protected material. Alright, so how would we troubleshoot this? Just like we're doing, we would start at the high resolutions and move down to the lower resolutions until we lock on a picture. And that is very easy to do with the 6G. We just go into our settings menu. We have our 6 top formats listed here: 720p, 1080i, 1080p, 4096 by 2160 at 24, 3840, 2160 at 30, and then also at 60. So we can pick all those, and we should be able to lock on all those in a modern 2015 display. I'm just down-resing to 720p now. Just as an example, you see how the picture got quite soft. But it locks. And that's pretty much your troubleshooting procedure. Now, let's talk about troubleshooting through a 70-meter extender. 70-meter extender, as you'll notice, 70-meter extender is 70 meters of category cable. In this case, we're using Cat6A. But an extender is only going to pass a maximum resolution by specification of 2160p 60 at 420. So let's prove that out. So if you were trying to send this NVIDIA shield through the extender and out to the system, if you're locking on at 444 2160p, it's not going to play. It's going to have to find a lower resolution or a different chromosub sampling to get it to lock on. But let's prove that out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take, instead of connecting in here, I'm going to connect this back into the extender. This is the extender's receiver. There's 70 meters of cable back here, just so you know I don't have anything up my sleeve here. The receiver, the transmitter. So into the transmitter here, and we're still on input 1. It's trying to negotiate now. My hot plug detect button is still flashing, and now I've locked on at 720p. No big deal. Let's go ahead and switch that over to 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second or 30 hertz, and we should still lock, and we do. Okay, so let's go ahead over here and change our HDCP to 2.2 to make sure we can pass 2.2 copy protection. and we can't. So these 70-meter extenders have to be made by a company called Ziggin. They actually can pass the 2.2 signal at the full, at least at 30 frames per second. So let's flip over here to 60 frames per second and see what we get. Now we get a message that says we don't have a signal. We're not seeing anything. So what do? We'll take and change this down to 4. We'll change it down to 4. Oops. We're going to change it to 4T0. Okay, 4T0. And let's see if we can get it to lock on a signal. Okay, signal's coming back. All right. So we're outputting now 2160p60 at 4T0, and the bit depth is 8-bit. So essentially, the extender is working exactly as it's designed to work. It's extending our signal 70 meters in this case, and there are 100-meter versions in the full HDBaseT chip. And this is telling us we can use, this 2160p60 source, but we need to make sure that we send 8-bit 4T0, and that gets us at the maximum capacity of this HDBaseT extender set, which is 10.2 gigabit per second. The 444 direct that we saw when we connected the generator directly in is running up, pushing towards 18 gigabits per second directly into the display. So the display is capable of much higher speeds and bandwidth than the set of extenders is able to pass. Just so you keep that in mind on your installs. If it works when you plug into it, which is basic troubleshooting 101. You take the source, plug it directly into the display, make sure it's working, then you plug the extenders in. It doesn't work. Well, you need to understand that there's a difference in the maximum signal resolution and format that can be passed based on the whole 4K specification. So that's troubleshooting through an extender. Same thing with an extender. If we do have problems, most problems are, I'd say 9 out of 10 are